However, so the last bread that Catherine made was a like really kind of whole wheat seedy one that had like sunflower seeds and poppy seeds and all stuff on it. And we liked it so much, she decided that she was going to make an everything bagel bread, which was awesome. So she did that this last weekend, and it is delicious. The top is all everything bagel seasoning, and it's all inside as well. Oof.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's not as dense as a bagel, right? Because it's a bread, so you can have like everything bagel sandwiches, kind of. Everything bagel bread sandwiches. It's good. Mm-hmm. It's really good.
Sounds awesome.
I don't know why it's not a thing. Why has everything bagel bread not been a thing I've ever seen before?
Did we just, did you just get rich?
Maybe I should start a bakery. I'm not doing anything right now. Start a bakery.
You're just the face on the logo.
Yeah, exactly. On each piece of bread, there's
Although I'd actually recommend going with her face over yours. So I don't know what role you will play.
No, that's probably right. The money man? Just kidding. I don't have any money.
Yeah, you're going to have to find some angel investors or something.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are your source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
Yeah, regular dudes drinking irregular beer, talking about regulated Magic play, and in a non-regulated podcast form.
Yeah. Yeah, what he said. Perfect. This week we're just going to be talking about the season's end and the past league weekend that we just had. Kaldheim League Weekend number 2. But first, each week we both bring a beer, we drink our own, then drink each other's, then rate them on a scale of bronze to mythic and choose the best for last. So with that, Jeff, what's on tap?
So we are continuing our Rorschach tap takeover from last episode. So we both brought beers from Rorschach. And this time we're even doing a battle of the stouts.
We are.
So we each brought some stouts here. I mean, I've already had a couple of sips, so that's why I'm like already messing up. But mine is, let's see if I can do this in one try.
Okay, here we go.
Malevolent Benevolence. It's an Imperial Stout at 11.9%. It's barrel aged in tequila barrels.
Yeah, baby.
The particular one that we have. And boy, does it pack a punch. What did you bring?
Oh, I brought Decadence. This is their pecan sticky bun version, and it's a chocolate milk stout and 7%.
That's it?
Yeah. It's gonna be a night.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
So, but let's just jump right into things. In Magic news, we had spoilers again. What? More spoilers. We actually did know about these ones. This is for Time Spiral Remastered. However, it is called a remastered set, but it's not going to be on Arena. So it's just Time Spiral for paper again, kind of.
Yeah. I guess they're just continuing the remastered brand into paper.
Yeah,
as well.
and moving. I guess they're going to be moving that over. So now remastered sets doesn't only mean arena content, which is important because for a while I wasn't sure if it was going to be on Arena or not. So they're basically redoing Time Spiral. They're like reprinting the whole set, essentially. And then they're also putting old border frames on any cards that people like that are only new border.
Right, not every card, but some cards that have never appeared in old border before will appear with the old border.
Yes, that are not part of the Time Spiral block from before.
Right.
Which is awesome. That's like the best part, really.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping, like you said, it wasn't coming to Arena, but I'm kind of hoping that card styles for any of the cards that happen to be on Arena as well come to the store so that I can pick those up. Yeah,
because I never recommend buying card styles unless it's something awesome like this. So
exactly.
Please give me an old border Thoughtseize.
Exactly.
I would.
That's the one I want to.
Immediately snap it up. Yeah. That and SRAM. If I could have SRAM for my Auras deck, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other ones that I've seen that are even on Arena that I was thinking, oh, that'd be perfect. But Thoughtseize definitely, I was like, that has to be a card style, right?
It's got to be. Yeah. But we have a new segment that we're calling Twitter Tweets. I did not run that past Jeff. I just decided that's what it's called.
Sure. I thought that's just what you were like labeling it here.
It is. But I'm going to call it that. Who cares? All right.
Okay.
So the Twitter tweets this week, Magic Esports had like a very controversial tweet that they put out, and it just had everybody up in arms about it. And it was basically just poking fun at Tron players. So I'm pretty sure the tweet said, "Why are Tron players the way they are?" And you know, that's just kind of like they were trying to make it like this jokey kind of thing where you're like, oh, you know, kind of poking a little fun at people that play a certain deck. And wow, did it just spiral out of control.
Are you sure? I think it's just a valid question. Why do people think they can play 7-drops on turn 3 and not get hated on?
But there was a lot of backlash of people. You know, people rip on Tron players a lot, but usually it's not from like a Wizards like account. And I don't know if that was specifically why, but people really got up in arms about hating on people to play certain types of decks. You know, bringing up everyone, you know, has their own play style or play pattern, and Magic is for all of us, and a lot of different things like that. So much so that Magic Esports came out with an apology to this tweet.
Right, and deleted the tweet.
Yeah, that seemed... and I think another thing, somebody had commented on their first tweet and basically was explaining why they didn't like it. And all Magic Esports wrote back was, "Guess we found the Tron player." And then it kind of exploded from there. So it was like ridiculing someone for explaining why they didn't appreciate what they had done, and then everybody
yeah, that maybe wasn't so hot. I mean,
that wasn't so great. I think
I agree with everything they're saying, right? It's not really a healthy part of the game that people get made fun of for what decks they pick and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, I'm going to rag on my friends, you know, almost no matter what deck they pick, if it's different than mine, as just like a friendly thing.
Yeah.
So this maybe being a bit too sensitive, I think. I don't think anybody at, you know, Magic Esports actually thinks that Tron players are bad human beings or something.
They're just trying to join in. They're just trying to drum up some sort of like discussion and like just, you know, people talking. And they want people to be talking surrounded about what they're saying. You know, that's kind of what social media is all about. And it,
for sure.
So I also completely understand where they're coming from as far as like why they tweeted something like that. I thought the backlash wasn't completely deserved, but it also, you know, all the things that they were saying were valid. You know, you shouldn't demonize people for playing certain decks, but
even if it's like blue-white auras, though. Like Boggles players, right? We gotta let them have it.
No, Boggles players are perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, Golgari players though. That's terrible. The graveyard should not be part of your hand. I think we should.
Cream of the crop.
So that seemed, you know, a little. I mean, there's the people that are upset about the tweet, and then there's the people that are upset about the people that are upset about the tweet, and then it just blows into a whole thing, and that's basically what happened, and that's why we're kind of bringing that up.
I mean, I think it's a bit overly sensitive, but the Magic community, especially on Twitter, has already shown itself to be overly sensitive. So I think Magic Esports, whoever wrote the tweet, could maybe have predicted this.
Yeah.
That's kind of my take on it.
My biggest thing was that it seemed like after that they were afraid to tweet anything, and so they weren't doing a fantastic job tweeting about the League Weekend, which I was like, I was really looking forward to what you were going to be posting about standings or what to watch or all that stuff throughout the weekend, and it felt like that account, I think all of that happened on Friday, so they were like kind of MIA and not really tweeting much.
They were just posting like updates after every round of the league standings.
So it was like,
which is great, but
yeah, which is good. It just seemed like, oh, that's a bummer. Wish that didn't really happen, but
I think it's fine to dislike a deck. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there are plenty of decks that I've truly not enjoyed playing against, and I'm like, I would enjoy this game more if this was not a part of the metagame. But there's two things. One, you have to understand that not everyone has the same deck that they feel that way about. If they do, then that deck just gets banned, because if everybody hates it, they ban it. They've shown that in the past.
Yeah.
With stuff like the Lantern of Insight combo deck.
Yeah.
Mostly just got banned, not even for power level reasons. It was quite good, but mostly just because it was nobody enjoyed playing against it. But the other thing is, like, you can never let your, like, disdain for a deck move on to the player who's playing that deck.
Exactly.
You have to understand those are two different things. And, that player is maybe just choosing this deck because they enjoy playing it from that side, which is a different thing than playing against it. Or they just thought it was a good choice for this meta game or whatever,
Yeah,
or maybe even sometimes it's like they met up with a friend and their friend had this extra modern deck, so they played that modern deck, There's no reason to hate a player for bringing a deck you don't like.
Exactly. And, there's obviously a difference between ribbing, your friend or whatever about what deck they brought. It is important to know that, like, this was just kind of a cute ribbing and in no way hate speech or, obviously it's not the same as, like, racism or sexism or anything like that, transphobia. So also seeing the difference between those things.
Yeah, like, I imagine it as, if I sit down at a modern tournament against somebody and they play Tron, a Tron land on turn 1, I'm not going to be, and I don't know them, I'm not going to say, oh, why are you the way that you are? Which I think is how everyone's interpreting it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking, like, oh, I meet up with my friends at the event, say, hey, what are you playing today? I know them really well. He's like, oh, I brought Tron. I'll be like, oh, why are you the way that you are?
Yeah.
That one I would do, and the first one I would not do.
Exactly. And I guess Magic Esports is not our friend. It's just kind of like it's not a person, right? It just is like a account, as opposed to a player that's ribbing their friend that they personally know. Obviously. Yeah. Anyway, we've talked about this way too much already, as Twitter has already talked about it, but it is what happened, and so we just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, the other thing, kind of zooming around the Twitterverse, was just that it kind of happens every league weekend, but a few players just comment on how stressful playing in league weekends is. Because playing in these huge tournaments, you're often, you're excited too, so you're getting very little sleep, and then you're mentally exerting yourself all day with almost no rest a lot of the time. And so you just feel totally spent at the end of it. And now that things are kind of ramping up to the point where it's like these people are kind of playing to keep their jobs, that's when the stress kind of is exacerbated.
Yeah.
And so they were just kind of reaching out on Twitter saying, yeah, I'm super stressed out by this, basically.
And all the folks that had like rough weekends were kind of commiserating together about it. I also heard that everyone was talking about how stressful it is, but then there's a lot of other people that were also saying, yeah, it is super stressful, but all the de-stressors of a big event like this are not there. Like, I can't talk to my friends afterwards or go get a beer or, like, decompress around people, or we don't get to talk. It's just like I'm literally just in my house, and then I turn the computer off, and then I just still sit there around it. Like, I don't get to do anything else, which I think really escalates everything.
As COVID tends to do, it makes things worse.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm thinking is, I don't know whether the stress is that much more than a regular tournament or not. Obviously, I'm not someone who can really talk about this because I haven't really done that. But it does seem like that might be a bigger deal than the actual pressure.
But part of it is you're like on camera the entire time, whereas
that's true.
Like every mistake you make, someone new. It's going to be seen.
That is true. That's hard.
But I also just saw people kind of saying, like, oh, no, they get to play professional Magic for a living. They shouldn't be complaining. And it's like, the thing is, though, is that this is their job. And it's not like, you're treating them like they're an NBA star or something. And they're going to be fine. And they make $40 million a year.
Yeah.
They make, like, a reasonable salary for someone to live off.
Yeah.
And that might be going away.
Also, NBA stars are exhausted after they have to do things. It's the same.
Right.
They are also like, wow, that was really tiring. That was a hard game, or that was a hard stretch of
shut
games.
up, LeBron. You make $80 million a year.
He's like, I'm gonna go sleep. I don't know. I'm tired. That was mentally and physically exhausting. And
especially during like playoffs and stuff when it's crunch time and they're playing every other night.
And flying and all that.
They've played 80 games already.
Yeah, it's like, it is part of like being at a high level in a sport. So it does come with the territory, but it's also, well deserved, and I bet it is very intense, and I will never know Magic like that. So
Hey, don't say never.
okay, yes, you're right. I will never say never. Just kidding. Wow.
We could always pull up Brad Barkley and just come out of the blue with our beers
in our mugs.
Win the whole thing. Yeah,
we should. Anyway, I was going to say something else, but I think we should just jump right into our.
No more Twitter talk.
No more Twitter talk.
Oh, that's what we should have called it. Twitter talk.
No, but Twitter tweets makes sense because it's like Twitter is tweeting, so it's like.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like what Twitter tweeted. Anyway, our season ended. Jeff, how'd you do? How was your season?
It was fine. I mean, I guess numbers-wise. Well, I want you to go first. How did you finish?
Okay. All right. My season was okay. I finished Diamond and Constructed and Gold and Limited. So.
Yeah, I also finished Diamond and Constructed, but I finished Platinum and Limited.
Whoa.
What's that?
Is that where you wanted me to go
Bet you
first?
feel silly now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was mainly because I was playing Kaldheim and not doing a great job in the drafts, kind of going a lot of 3-3s or 3-0-3s. And then after that, I was just playing a bunch of sealed, so it wasn't moving up at all. I was a bunch of unranked stuff, so
yeah,
that is why. But also, I'm terrible.
Still got to Diamond.
Well, as far as constructed, yeah, I was still playing ranked constructed, but in limited, I was playing a lot of limited, but not ranked limited, is what I mean.
Right. Yeah, playing sealed. Yeah, so I managed to qualify for the Strixhaven Championship qualifier in March.
Yay.
So it's in a couple of weeks here. It's Kaldheim sealed again, but that was kind of my goal, was to get into that. That's always my goal, is to make sure if I know I'm going to be playing enough to do it that month, then I want to get into the next month's qualifier weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing about it is that once you do that, once you qualify for the next month's qualifier weekend, you have almost no real incentive to rank up anymore. Because the cool thing about going up to Mythic and getting into the top 1200 is that it qualifies you for this event, right? But when you remove that, at least for me, it's like if I finish Diamond or if I finished Mythic, the difference is one pack of Kaldheim cards.
Yeah, that's one pack. That's a whole pack. That's a whole pack of cards, 1/6 of a wild card. Come on.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think of it. It's 1/6 of a wild card, and it's going to take me, 12 hours to make this push or something. So unless you're just chasing it because you just want to say, oh, I hit limited, Mythic, or whatever, which is fine. I just wasn't feeling that, so I also didn't play a lot of ranked. I did, but only when I actually just wanted to. I never was playing to try to rank up.
Yeah.
So I'd play wacky decks or whatever, total brews, and see if my diamond opponents could react to them.
Sounds fun.
It was fun.
Hope you had a good time.
I sure did. And then also, of course, the big thing that happened this season was the first ever limited arena open.
Yes. Yeah, of course. So this was a big season. Really important for the future. Hope we get lots more of those, and maybe a draft one at some point.
I forced my way into day 2 by just entering the event 4 times. So
perfect. Oh, I did want to mention, I said something wrong last time. I'm pretty sure I said that LSV, it took him 3 times to get in, but it took him 5 times. Yeah.
There you go.
I would just like to, oops, my bad. It was 5, not 3.
I will say, though, LSV cashed on day 2, and he posted his deck, and it looked like garbage.
Yeah.
That was everyone who was posting pics of their deck, and I got $1,000 or I got $2,000. They all had just busted decks with awesome rares, except LSV's deck looked so bad. He's the only one I saw that posted that made money that would just had an awful looking
Yeah,
deck.
it was just like a Rakdos mid-rangey kind of deck with 4 Runamucks or something.
Yeah, he described it as it's Rakdos deck consisting of all the cards I'm usually hoping that do not make my deck. Consisting entirely of commons that I'm usually hoping to cut.
Oh, that's so funny. That sounds like most of my decks. Well, that's great that you made your goal. That's wonderful for you. I'm really happy that you did that.
Thank you.
I did not make my goal.
I told you it was too ambitious.
I know. I forgot that I had to get all the cards first. Anyway, I said I was going to get 3 bingos on our bingo score card, and I did. I didn't get any.
How many did you get? You got 0.
I got 0 bingo.
It's not very
bingos.
close.
Yeah, it turns out that like I couldn't spend my wild cards on this thing, and I didn't have a ton of the cards, so I was drafting a lot in sealed, and then I just didn't happen. You were right. I'm gonna say it. You were right. I should have.
I feel like we were just jazzed about creating.
I was just really excited.
Bingo board, and
yeah,
a lot of them felt doable, but then. Yeah, exactly. If you're going to equip Valky with Sword of the Realms, that's like 8 mythic wild cards.
Exactly.
If you don't have those cards.
To jam the deck. Or you're playing a crappy deck forever just to find 2 cards in it that you open.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so I think this next one, this next season, I'm going to scrap the bingo plan. All right? I'm just going to do that for fun. And I have a real goal, okay? But I made it super easy. Because I want to make sure I actually, achieve it. Because I make these goals all the time, and I never get them. I don't.
You got the one where you wanted to not spend too many resources before call time.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did the one where I was supposed to not do anything. So this time it has to be an active goal. And so this goal is that I want to play in an SCG satellite. And that's it.
I love it. Yes.
I want to play in one satellite at least, and I don't have to do anything. I just have to play in it. That's all. I don't have to get a winning record. So hopefully,
qualify.
Yeah, hopefully I will finish this by this weekend, and then I'll just be like, boom, I did it. I don't have to have this thing.
That's right. The SCG Tour is coming back this weekend.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's great. So, I am in favor of that goal because I've been trying to get you to play one of these things for a while.
Exactly. So I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to play yet. We'll see how it goes.
I'll send you my red-white Tybalt's Trickery list.
I don't want to play that. But yeah, if anyone is interested in these SCG satellites and hasn't done it like me, Jeff, how do you be a part of one of these things?
So it's run through MTG Melee. You go to mtgmelee.com. You... I think have to register an account with them and link it to your arena account. Mm-hmm. And then you just sign up for these tournaments. I think the satellites, I don't know what the most recent ones are, but they used to be $7 US. And then basically MTG Melee does everything for you. It's matches you up against somebody, gets you into contact with them, gives you their screen name, and tells you their deck list. You copy their screen name and you send them a tournament match challenge in the arena client. And then you play, report your match result to Melee, and they take care of the rest.
Boom. There you go.
It's really easy to use.
Yeah. Seems really easy. And after he explained that to me, that's why I decided I would do it. Because I was like, oh, that seems really easy.
Oh, wait, I don't actually have to
it doesn't seem hard.
Anything.
Yeah.
Cool. If I had to set everything up myself through Discord or something, I'd just be like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah, way too hard. But anyway, that's my goal. Jeff, what's your goal?
Yeah, so my goal... I think the one I really would like is to make day 2 of the qualifier weekend. So spoke about having qualified for that earlier on. But being honest with myself, it's Kaldheim sealed, and you only get one shot, unlike the Arena Open. So it just feels like that's just a low percentage thing. You have to win 7 matches before you lose 3. And so even with a really high win rate, lots of great players won't do that on the first try. But I don't know. That's an actionable goal I could try. I hope to make day 2 of that event.
Yeah.
As usual, I want to qualify for the next one, so I want to just start stringing these together, so I'm qualified every month. And part of that is to do well in the SCG event. I think the easiest way to qualify, to be honest, because it doesn't require you to grind up to the top spot of the ladder.
Nice. I like it. Sounds like a good goal.
I'd like to do well in one of the day 2s of the SCG events, because I'm finding I'm kind of at the point where I can qualify for those things most weekends that I want to. Like if I try to qualify for it, I usually get there. Mm-hmm. But then I don't tend to do well on day 2. Like I had that one Good Gruel Adventures top 8 a long time ago now, but everyone I've played in since then, I've either slept through or lost early. So I want to make that next step where I'm starting to have, I'm not saying I need to top 8 it or win, but maybe a positive record in one of those.
Okay, all right. I was going to say shoot for the stars, but I was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Because they're basically like 9-round events, and as soon as you get 3 losses, you're out. So, if I go 4-3, that's fine.
Yeah.
Better than 0-2 drop. So.
Exactly.
Or better than 0-0 failed to meet registration.
Yeah. That is definitely the worst one. Yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to change that. It just seems so arbitrary that they're like...
This one has to, right? Because you do have to... Each round starts at a time. It's a more traditional tournament.
Oh, yes. Okay, that makes more sense.
It's just the arena opens are the ones where you can play whenever you want. But
Right.
these ones are like round 2 is beginning, and now everyone gets their round 2 opponent.
Right. Oh, it just makes me want to play. Makes me want to play paper.
Yeah, it does kind of make you miss like paper tournaments.
Yeah.
But tournaments are just fun. That's why
They are.
I'm trying to get you to do one of these SCG satellites.
Yes. So hopefully I'll do one on Friday. Yeah, and then we'll see. I might even just play Reed's list. But hey Jeff, how's your beer doing?
I'm done, man. I need another.
I am also done. So let's go to a beer break. Alrighty, here we go.
Okay, Decadence. Pecan sticky bun chocolate milk stout.
Yeah. Malevolent benevolence. Wow, yeah.
Wow, after a beer too.
Yeah, exactly. Not only is it tequila barrels. Oops, there we go. I can't say barrel.
That's the part you messed up.
Yeah.
Barrel.
Añejo tequila barrels. That's pretty good. Oh, boy.
Are you a big tequila buff? Do you know the difference between all these things?
I know Añejo is like one of the best ones because that just means old. Right? It's like older.
Gotcha.
Ooh. It's like Feliz Cumpleaños, right? So that's happy birthday. So años is like your year. Happy year. Anyway. Spanish lessons from the arena regulars. Ready for it? But yeah.
Next week, French.
French, yeah. But if you're looking for tequila, Añejo's like the good one.
Good to know.
Buddy. Okay.
Oh, wow. This is super different from the last stout I had.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is super different than what I just had. Whoa. You can taste that
Weird
tequila.
how that works.
For sure.
I know. That was my first thought, too, is you can definitely taste the tequila barrels.
That's all right. This is a new experience. Anyway, Kaldheim League Weekend number 2 just happened
the
this
books.
weekend. It's in the books. It was a good one. I think it was a pretty good league weekend. Lots of ups, lots of downs, lots of all arounds.
Sure.
So we just wanted to quickly go through the standings now as they are presently standing. Jeff, do you want to do the MPL and I'll do the rivals? Just like...
Sure. What are we doing? Like top 4, maybe?
Top 4, top 10-ish.
Okay, so you won't see too much difference here at the top of the NPL standings. We have Paulo Vitor Damodarosa still in first place, still followed in second place by Gabriel Nassif. Mm-hmm. And then in third, we have Brad Nelson and Andre Strosky are now tied for third place. So Andre's moved up. He was about 5th, I think, before this weekend.
And notably, Seth Manfield is no longer in the top 4.
Right. Seth didn't have the best weekend. Behind them, we have Reed Duke in 5th. Andrea Mangucci and Marcio Carvalho and Ray Sato all had good weekends. They're tied for 6th now with Seth Manfield. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Autumn Burchett, Jean-Emmanuel Depras, and William Jensen, all tied for 10th. You might remember that William Jensen was kind of a little ways down before this weekend.
He was. So he was really far down before.
Might have a little more to say about him later.
Yeah. But for our Rivals League, the top moved around a little bit, but not too surprising. Eli Cassis and Stanislav Sifka now hold the first place together. Matt Sperling is in 3rd, and then Christian Hawk is right behind him. Then
I think that might be the worst placement Matt Sperling has had all year, dropping all the way down to 3rd. He was first, almost right away, and then held that position for a while.
Yeah. The big one to see is that we don't have Luis Scott Vargas for a while here. So Luca Magni and Zachary Keeney are tied for 5th, And then Corey Burkhart and Yuta Takahashi are tied for 7th. Yvonne Flock is 9th. And then Bernardo Santos, Chris Botelho, Kenji Egashira, Luis Scott Vargas, Mike Segrist, Riku. Wow, there's so many.
Yeah.
Riku,
I guess we're doing a top 7 teams.
yeah. Riku Kumagai and Thorolf Severin. They're all tied for 10th place. That's a lot of people in 10th place, and I should have known
Man,
that.
I remember Luis Scott Vargas being a lot higher than that.
Yeah, Luis was. Dropped quite a bit from this last weekend. Holy moly. Yeah, but anyway, things are shaking up a little bit. Things are moving around. Spicy stuff. What can I say?
Yeah, and it's coming down like to the wire on these players don't have much more time to improve their positions.
Yeah, or at least greatly improve them, because what we're going to be moving on to soon will be more kind of pool based, which just kind of changes things up a little bit.
Yeah, so we have the Kaldheim Championship to end the Kaldheim split. And then once we move into the Strixhaven split is kind of meant to be, I guess, a pre-playoff. It's like a playoff kind of, where you play people based on your finishing in the regular season.
No longer are they going to be doing the round robins, basically. This was the last round robin league weekend.
Yeah, so, and if you remember correctly, the championships, you're only able to get 4 points out of them.
Yes,
so
exactly.
A lot of these players don't have much opportunity to move anymore. But I guess there's also the Strixhaven Championship, right?
Yeah, which also awards 4 points. So championships don't do a whole lot for your actual placement in the standings. Like, let's take the MPL, for example. It can, like, those 4 points, if one of those players happens to get all 4 of the points you could possibly get from the championship, the top 4 could move around a little bit as amongst themselves. But let's say, so Reed Duke has 28 points, and the highest player at PVDDR has 34. Like, that's not even going to get him first place if he wins the championship. So,
right. Although 8 points will.
If he wins
PV
both.
does nothing. Yeah.
So
we should mention that 4 points out of a championship means you top 8 at the event. Yeah, so it's coming down to the wire here. Excited to start seeing these, like, league weekends where they play based off seeding. I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and where you know that obviously they've been saying the whole time each match really counts and all that kind of stuff. And we all know that, but it means a lot more when you can say this person is the top seed of this and this person's this. And if their pools of like 8 or 10 or whatever, it's like this is the top person in their pool.
Right.
It helps a little bit more.
So how do we want to do this? Do we want to talk about the league weekend and what happened first, or do we want to do fantasy first and then just talk about the league?
Maybe we should do fantasy first and then talk about the league weekend, because fantasy is going to say a lot about what happened.
Sure.
I think so.
All right, so why don't you start us off? How'd your team do?
I will start us off. So as everyone knows, we make up teams of 3 MPL players and 4 rivals players, and then we also pick what we think the highest meta percentage that people will bring as far as decks go, and then the top performing deck for the weekend.
So maybe we just go over the players first and then do the metagame stuff. Yeah.
So my players were solid picks. I really liked all of them, and they for the most part pulled through. PVDDR was on mono white and got me 6 points. All right, so they played 11. 11 was the highest you could possibly get. They played 11 matches. So
you went 6 and 5.
And 6 and 5. So that's a winning record.
I saw a tweet. I forget who it was, but it was either an MPL or a Rivals player. I think another MPL player. And they were saying, I'm surprised at how poorly Mono White did in this tournament. And then it put in brackets, because it was only after day 1 and PV was 3 and 2. Mm-hmm. And he put in brackets, like, for PV to go 3 and 2 is like for us mere mortals going 1 and 4. Like, as an explanation for how bad Mono White must be if PV only went 3 and 2 with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so didn't do super well, but 6 is still good. Brad Nelson,
by his own standards, that's probably a disappointing weekend.
And I think he was.
By most people's standards, it's good.
Exactly. Yeah. But as far as like being your number one pick, it also is a little disappointing. Not gonna lie. So Brad Nelson was on Sultai Control and got 7 points. Thank you, Brad. And Seth Manfield was also on Sultai Control and got me 3 points.
Same exact list.
Same exact
Although
list.
they did play against each other, and Brad won in a close match.
Oh, all right. But still, Seth had a rough one. Then going down into rivals, Stanislav Sivka was also on Sultai Control. A little
Same
different
list?
Was it the same list? I thought it was the Czech house list.
Yeah, it might be a card or two different, but Brad and Seth worked with the Czech house.
Oh, did they? They were all running a Seeker's Chariot.
Yeah.
And Stanislav Sivka got me 7 points. So Seth apparently sucks.
Yeah, that must be it.
Must be it. Simon Gordson was on Mono Red and got me 4 points. Ely Cassis on Night Adventures got 8. There we go, Ely. Come on. 8 points. That's what I need.
2 really good weekends in a row.
Yeah, man. Really impressive stuff from Ely Cassis. And then Mike Segrist, Mono White with 5 points, which is what you'd expect from Mono White with a great player behind him. But 5 points, that's pretty good. So felt good, That's a good 40 points right there. Pretty solid. I like it. Well, how about you?
Nice.
What'd you do?
So my team, my first pick was Gabriel Nassif. He brought the deck that everybody was expecting to come out in spades. Abzan Control. Wait, Abzan? Yeah, Abzan Control. That's not a typo. He got me 6 wins with his Abzan Control deck. Javier Dominguez brought Naya Adventures. In particular, he brought the combo version. He got me 5 wins with that. And then William Jensen, my nice little sleeper pick here, 3rd place. William Jensen played Naya Adventures, the same list as Ely Cassis, I believe. And he got 9 wins.
What the fuck?
9 and 2.
What the actual
best
fuck?
performing player
Of
both leagues of the weekend.
What a fucking sneaky little... He's
What a
gotten
great pick. I think that's what you mean to say.
He's gotten a solid 5 points in every other league weekend, and he got 1 point for the championship. And then the one time you pick him or anybody picks him, he gets 9? What the fuck? Come on.
Absolute hero performance by William Jensen, and he also skyrocketed up the rankings thanks to that.
Yeah, holy shit.
So overall, my MPL players did quite well. Kind of carried by William Jensen, but still.
Very
the
much.
other two did fine. My rivals players not quite as well performing.
How was your first pick? What happened to him?
So I selected LSV, Luis Scott Vargas, as my first pick.
It's a terrible pick.
Apparently, great player. He picked Mono Red. Unfortunately, was only able to get 3 wins. So, by his lofty standards, that's just a disappointing weekend.
Yeah, that's like as bad as Seth Manfield.
Yeah. Jeez, yeah, these guys are real stinkers.
Really terrible.
Zachary Keeney was my second pick. He played Mono White, and he got 5 wins. Luis Salvado, the other LSV, played Naya Combo. He got 5 wins as well. And then Corey Burkhart played Jeskai Cycling and got 6 wins.
Crazy.
The later I picked them, the better they did.
That's so... Especially because I kind of wanted Corey, and now I'm like, well, it's hard to switch any of these people for Corey. I felt pretty good with my rivals.
So that puts me at 39 points.
39. So I'm winning.
40.
So, but it was very close with the players. That was... without William, or Huey Jensen, sorry, man, I would be like really, really strong going into this next bit. But meta percentages.
The only other thing I wanted to mention
is
that both of our best players were playing the same deck, which is Naya Adventures, built by Reed Duke, I believe.
Yes.
So they tested together, and they might have been a card or two different from each other, but they are essentially the same deck.
Mm-hmm. So that is telling you something, and something about something later. But as far as the top meta percentages goes for the decks that people brought, I really thought Rakdos midrange would show up for us just once, just one time.
Yeah.
You really got into my head, and then I almost changed at the last second and said something else, and said like Mono White or something.
So my mind games almost destroyed me.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure like 2 people brought Rakdos mid-range.
2 people brought back Rakdos, so it wasn't 0.
It wasn't 0.
That's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, we don't have like negative points for that, do we? Maybe we should.
Yeah. Talk about that next time.
Yeah.
I selected Gruul Adventures. And Gruul Adventures had 8 copies. I think it was like tied for third most. Like there were 2 decks tied for first, and then Gruul Adventures and another deck were tied for the second most popular position. Basically, what I was worried about kind of did happen, that Gruul, the Adventures decks got split up across like 4 different archetypes, actually. It was funny, we were talking about how Moist Gruul is, or Teamer is actually just Gruul.
Yeah.
But the decks that people brought that were Teamer Adventures were definitely not just Gruul. They had like Alrund's Epiphany and counter spells in the main
Yeah,
deck.
so it was definitely Teamer for sure. It wasn't this Moist junk.
Right. So that didn't count towards my thing. So I did not get the best most played deck. The most played decks were Mono White was tied with Naya combo.
Yeah. Naya Fury.
Naya Fury. Yeah, we can call it that too. So I get 2 points for beating Zach, but neither of us knocked it out of the park.
All right.
That puts me 1 point ahead.
So, and this is how we finished the weekend, basically. It was, we knew it was 41-40, and it was all down to the highest win percentage.
So what did you select as the highest win percentage deck?
I thought Gruul Adventures was going to come out and just keep smashing like it always does and just really get in there. Turns out I was close. I was very close.
Yes. Because the deck I thought was going to be the best was Naya Adventures. And ding, 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 ding. That one was the best performing deck of the weekend, thanks in no small part to William Huey Jensen going 9-2 with it.
I forgot to add the best color to Gruul, and then
Right.
I would have been.
Yeah, that was your mistake.
Yeah. Damn it.
So Naya Midrange, as they're calling it in the graphic, but it's the Gruul Adventures deck splashing white, had a 66.7% win rate.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you see a number that clean, 2/3, you know it's small sample size. It was only played by 6% of the metagame. But still, I mean, this deck was really, really performed well.
Yeah.
It absolutely dominated mono white aggro and mono red aggro, and the Sultai Ultimatum deck. So these were kind of what the big 3 that people expected to be the most popular decks. Didn't end up being that way. But it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you're very lucky that it was 4 people that brought it instead of like 2. Because if it was 2, we would have cut that. But 4.
For sure, yeah. It wouldn't have made the graphic, and therefore.
Yeah.
And Teamer Adventures, the Taking Turns deck, was hot on its tail at a 64.8%.
Yeah. So actually, when I said that I was really close, I was close because I had Gruul Adventures and I just need another color.
Yeah.
But Gruul Adventures did not do very well.
Right.
46.1% win rate.
Because it got stomped by the Naya combo deck. 18.2% in that matchup. That's outrageous.
It got stomped, really? You're gonna use that?
I tried to sneak it in there.
Yeah.
The by far worst performing deck was mono red aggro.
So surprising, honestly.
So after the 2 top decks, mono red was the other one that's tied for Gruul. Mm-hmm. Tied with Gruul, and it did 29.2% win rate. Every matchup, it got obliterated.
Yeah. A lot of that's from LSV, but actually, most of it is from Martin Yuza.
I was wondering if we were going to call him out.
We're definitely calling him out. Man, Martin.
I think did he end up 0-11?
Yes, he went 0-11. Martin did not win a single match all weekend. So fucking rough, bro. That sucks. Yeah. He dropped 8
for
spots.
A player of his caliber. You know that's just running bad. You know.
Not only that, but so he was pretty down on himself. But he's a really good guy, and he was kind of making some jokes and like I saw him on Twitter. Actually, he posted a deck list and basically said, "So after this weekend, I figured out exactly which cards you should cut from mono red and what cards you should put in instead. And now this is the perfect list that you should take to the next tournament." And it literally said out, and it was his entire deck list said out, and then in was Reed's Naya Adventures deck.
Nice.
It was hilarious. So he's
Just
got yeah.
take out all the cards from the worst performing deck. Put in all the cards from the best
performing
deck.
It was pretty hilarious, and I've been really enjoying his kind of like jokey banter about it, and owning up, hey, I did fucking terrible, but and so then
That's
not only
that's
that,
hilarious.
but then I saw him talk to Channel Fireball posted something that was like, hey, if you want to know all about standard and everything, here's this article by Martin Yuza, and he just goes, yikes, underneath.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was hilarious.
It was like,
Because it was an ad for CFB Pro.
right.
And it's like, don't try to get the metagame right yourself. Let Martin do it for you. It's just like a picture of Martin Yuza.
It's like, oh,
Yikes.
fuck. It's so funny, though. Oh, it's rough. Martin, I feel for you, buddy.
He took it like a champ.
He really did. Boy, did he performed worse than every other person. I don't even think there were people that got 1 or 2 wins only. It was either 3 was the lowest or nothing. So
Right.
rough.
Yeah, the variance was pretty low.
Yeah.
There were just the couple outliers, William on one end and Martin on the other.
So, man, sorry, bud, but whew, it made me laugh, and I'm sorry for that. You'll get him next time.
Yeah, speaking of losing all the time, that brings my point total to 45, and
Shut
yours
up.
stays at 40.
Oh, yeah. Once again, I lost.
I love how I won because of the meta section, and during the metagame performance, like when I was picking my decks, the reasons I had for picking them were wrong. I said like nobody was going to bring Naya combo, ended up being the most popular deck.
Yeah.
And then I said that Naya's going to win because Gruul's going to be so popular, and Naya's going to win in the
Mirror
mirror
match.
match. Which, I mean, it did beat the Gruul decks, but that, like, Gruul wasn't the most popular deck, so that also is not why Naya performed.
And I was thinking that the aggro decks were going to be better. I think a lot more people were worried about the aggro decks and were playing
The
things.
aggro decks were the 2 worst performing decks
Yeah.
in mono red and mono white.
So, really bummer, man.
Yeah. Maybe Faceless Haven's not good.
No, I think Faceless Haven's still good. But Lithoform Blight is a good way to stop Faceless Haven. Turns
Yes. Gab Nassif.
out. Gab Nassif doing some cool stuff.
Abzan Control.
Yeah, if you did not get to watch the Gabriel Nassif versus Paulo Vitor Damida Rosa match, it's worth watching. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Go back.
That was a
check
great
out.
match.
When they get the VODs up, they are not up right now. It'll be nice when they get that all edited. Seems like a priority
It takes
to me,
them a few days to get stuff going.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes they don't even have updated standings by now.
I don't even know if they do now. So all of our that's important to note actually. So all of our standings and our stats and everything we're getting is actually from a Twitter account that is Ball Lightning PhD. So Ball Lightning, thank you very much. This is a person who just like follows everything along, has a fantastic spreadsheet of everything that's going on, all the ranks people are
really
going
helpful.
up and down, all the points from all the previous things, updated as the tournament goes on. So check.
Yeah, we PhDs like to be on top of things, so.
Yeah, should we be Arena Regulars PhD?
Yeah.
Like asterisk.
Yeah, half PhD.
Mm-hmm.
And also the win rate matrix we use is from MTG Beta on
Yes.
on Twitter.
So those are 2 fantastic Twitter accounts that give you a lot of information that we use regularly. And
I don't even
love
like
them a lot.
check the website anymore because I just know Ball Lightning not only is going to have it up faster, it's probably going to be more correct because last time they didn't attribute enough wins to Rei Sato and stuff.
Yeah,
on
it'll be
web.
more accurate, and I don't know why they haven't hired him yet. They should.
Yeah. So a really interesting weekend. Not at all really what was expected. It was kind of
No.
expected. So mono white and mono red did show up as, tied for number 1 most popular and tied for number 2 most popular. But they did so bad. And maybe everyone was just prepared for them.
I think people were prepared for mono white, mono red, and Sultai is kind of what they were looking towards. But Sultai ended up
Sultai still did fine.
Yeah, did fine. I think they were playing like, I'm worried about these decks running me over, and I think I can deal with Sultai stuff. But I mean, I'm happy that, like, number one, cycling doing well, which was pretty fun.
Ooh.
And the Naya Fury deck was cool also, in my opinion. I thought...
yeah, it's kind of interesting that deck kind of emerged like 1 week before this event.
Yeah.
And then now it's the most popular deck in this tournament.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising.
Really surprising.
That's just how quickly the metagame moves, you know?
Exactly. Thank you, Arena. Metagames move fast.
I'd like to give a special shout out to Reed Duke for making all of my predictions come true by building an awesome Naya deck that everyone won with.
Yes.
That was
Thank
really
you, Reed.
generous of you, Reed. Thanks for that.
As I said before, I am now playing that deck, as everyone else should. Pick one of their favorite decks from this weekend, play it a little bit, realize it's not tuned for the ladder, and change it up a little bit. So
Although it might do well in the satellites.
it might do well on the satellites, and I might see a lot of it. So once again, it's one of those things, hey, this deck did super well. William Huey Jensen took this deck, got 9 wins. People will see that. They're going to start playing it. The first thing I want to do is play it so that either I will play it or I know how to beat it, is the things I'm working towards. So,
And if that is a deck you want to play in like a competitive event, I do recommend just going to Huey's Twitch channel and watching the VODs of you get to watch all 11 matches, see how he sideboards, see how he, reacts to different situations, and just watch him, put on an absolute masterclass with that deck.
yeah. And, so the big thing is the sideboarding, honestly. So
That's what I did in the event when I did well with Gruul. I watched Ray Sato. He did awesome with it. And I just watched, he went like 11-1 or something. I think the best performance of any league weekend.
yeah, it was.
And I just watched him and I wrote down how he was sideboarding against different matchups and tried to watch him, like if there were any plays I wouldn't do that I saw him do, tried to like note that. And it really definitely helped.
Yeah. So do those things. It'll be really helpful. We do, as always, want to talk about the best possible fantasy team you could have had for this league weekend.
Yeah, and Zach, this time we got crushed by the fantasy
We
team.
really did.
Yeah. So I don't even know if we mentioned final point totals. I was at 45. You were at 40.
Yes, those are the final point totals. Thanks for reminding me again.
Yeah, I'll say it again. Don't worry, just in case you forget.
So now, do you want to also say what the overall score is now? Just because.
Oh, good point. So the overall score is now 3-1 for me.
Yeah. It is important to note it's getting crunch time for the players. It's also getting crunch time for me. So Jeff can win one more, and then I have to win everything after that.
Yeah, so there are 5 more events.
Yes.
So if I win the next one, that would be 4-1 with 4 events left. And then you would have to win out.
All 4. So it's not...
You have like 1 more loss to give.
Yes.
And 2 more losses means you're done.
Then all the other fantasy ones will just be for fun, or new bets, I guess, or added bets.
I also don't know, are the gauntlets being streamed? Maybe we could do the gauntlets too to add a few more events into the
Just
mix.
help me out. Just throw me pity now. Oh, just, Or I guess maybe we'll watch those. We'll just start new bets, maybe. That we'll probably just start new bets.
I'm just thinking, I want to run up the score mostly, but...
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. We're playing, NFL Blitz. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Sounds good. Anyway, let's talk about the best possible team. Jeff, you go do
that. Okay, so best possible team would be... Your 3 MPL players would be William Huey Jensen. He's the best performer with 9 points. And then your next 2 would be Andre Strosky and Li Shitian, who both had 8 points. Then your 4 rivals players, the best performers were Ili Cassis with 8 and Yuta Takahashi also with 8. So those would be 2 of your teams. And then a bunch of people had 7, so the best possible team would consist then of any 2 of Matt Sperling, Christian Hawk, Toralf Severin, Chris Botello, and Ryuzo Fuji.
Nice.
Then... Your metagame percentage, you could either select Naya Fury or Mono White Aggro. They were tied for most dominant deck, or most played deck. And then your top performing selection would have been Naya Adventures. And that would bring you up to a grand total of 63 points.
63. So, actually, it didn't crush you as badly. 8 points isn't horrible to lose.
18.
18? Oh, shit, we're 40. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was at 45.
This is a reason why I went to art school instead of math school. Wow, holy shit. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
just kidding.
We got smoked. We got beat by 2 Hueys.
2. Fuck. I already got beat by 1 Huey. I can't be beat by 2. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Just a lot of kind of surprises, I guess. Like people who have shown themselves to be pretty consistent and do well, not doing well, and
vice versa.
That's kind of explains our low point totals.
But
it's also just really, really hard.
It is showing, like I said before, is LSV always number 1 in Rivals? Is he worth of a number 1 pick every time? This has shaken, I think, that foundation.
For sure. Yep. You won't be as confident choosing LSV first now after two bad weeks in a row.
It's not necessarily like you could pick second, wouldn't feel terrible, or third, but like it's not.
Oh,
it's just basically it's not given anymore.
I think he's still, like, without question, the most accomplished player in the league.
For sure.
Right? So it's never a bad choice.
No, I don't think it's going to be a bad choice. But I don't think it's just the given choice of, like, if you don't pick that person, you're stupid. Because he could burn you, which he didn't burn
PV
you.
kind of... I wouldn't say PV has lost that title yet in the MPL.
No, it's still putting up numbers that are good enough that you wouldn't be super upset by him. In all events, just like feels good enough.
Right. It kind of feels like the 6 points you got from him is his floor.
Yeah,
like
and it is.
That's the worst he's ever going to do for you.
What we've seen in the league weekend, 6 is the worst. So that feels pretty good. And in the championship, still got 3 points, which is just lost on tiebreakers. Otherwise, would have gotten 4. So anyway, that has been the Kaldheim League Weekend. Check out any VODs when they come out, or actually just go to Twitch and you can check all those your favorite players out. See how they did if you didn't watch any of it. But it was great.
Yeah. Did you watch much of it?
I did. I was watching. I watched most of it on Sunday. For a bit, I actually had hooked it up so I could use my computer, and then I had a separate screen just for it, which was pretty fun.
Right. Here in Toronto, Saturday was really nice weather, and Sunday was dog shit weather. So
yeah, so it was really great to be indoors on Sunday, which is what I did. Also, Catherine was gone doing something, so I got to just kind of watch it all day.
Nice.
But yeah, did you get to watch a bunch of it?
I did. I watched probably pretty close to like just under half of the matches that were shown on the official Magic Twitch account. It was really interesting. I also noticed there were fewer kind of tech disturbances this time.
Yeah, definitely better than in previous weekends.
Yeah, the only problem now that's still lingering in regards to that is the quality is so poor in some matches. You know, if the player's internet connection isn't the best because you're restreaming their stream, it just looks like, it looks really like, wow, that for our day and age, this looks really bad. Like, it's not even 720p. It's like, 480 or whatever the thing was before that.
And we can't exactly distinguish what the cards are. You can kind of guess by looking at them, but it does feel like you need to put your glasses on.
Right. So that's the next thing they need to fix, which again is the spectator room thing, because that's just going to continue to be a problem as long as the players are streaming to them through Discord and then they're streaming that through Twitch. That's like double compression, and if the player's original feed's not that good,
exactly,
it's going to look terrible.
No, for sure. They should definitely get that up. But I am happy that we didn't have any not power outages, but it feels like that where like the stream goes down or something happens or it freezes or the commentators are just like buying time for a long time trying to figure out what's going on or making things up.
Or you can't hear them or something. None of that really happened.
The feature matches were the feature matches.
We actually got to watch a match. Yeah, that
we
was
did.
Between two of our players. The last one, too. PV versus Gabe.
Yeah, so we've been trying to do that ever since these started, and we finally got to watch one. That's multiple factors going into it, right? We have drafted teams, but it's still a feature match that we wanted to see, that we actually got to see.
Exactly.
Brad's dog didn't get sick or whatever,
Or when we tried to watch, I think last time the stream just crapped out during our match. So
yeah, and we're like, well, I guess we should just leave, and it was but that was good. So overall, good league weekend. Continue to get better, but it's also good to point out the things that we want. Hopefully we'll eventually get to that place where we are extremely happy with it, and I can watch it on my TV.
Exactly.
However they do that, I don't know. I don't know how all that works, but
you can watch it on your TV as long as the fiance is gone.
Yeah, or I'll be like, we're watching this, and she'll be like, no. I'll be like, oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. Just kidding. She would be like, yeah, do whatever. I'll just like watch SVU on my computer.
I'll just bake delicious bread.
Yeah, I'll just make delicious bread for you. But you know what that? Do you hear that sound? Do you know what that sound is? That's the last call. That's what that is. Here. My glass is empty.
Last call.
Last call. 3, 2, 1. Hey, same one. The malevolent benevolence. Wow.
Malevolent benevolence.
This one's just,
Aged in tequila pearls.
Añejo tequila barrel. Oh man.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, great beer. Hey,
let's start with this one, I guess.
Let's start with this one. But before we start with that one, I want to quickly talk about the rating scale. So we always rate everything on a scale of bronze to mythic. Obviously, those are the tiers that you can be in on Arena. But basically how we break it down is that bronze is kind of trash. That's just the stuff you don't really want to drink or ever finish. Silver is macro brews or things you're just not extremely impressed with. Nothing's really going on. Gold is fine, and you drink it, but you won't really drink it that often. Platinum is solid, really good beer. You will drink it. You'll pick it up again. Diamond is absolutely exceptional. Would recommend to other people and will drink it. And then Mythic is absolutely the best beer you could possibly get. Would recommend to a stranger at the store, on the street, anywhere. When you think of great beer, this is the beer you're thinking of.
I like that one. I would recommend it to anyone, even people who do not want my recommendation.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that good. I
was wondering if we should add like a Mythic 1200 to this, like the top 1200. Those are just the best of the best Mythic beers.
Well, right now, our Mythic, we're already really, really intense about the Mythic rating. I think we've rated 3 beers Mythic, so I think we're probably fine with where we are.
It's literally just my favorite beer and your favorite beer.
And there's one more in there too, but Jelly King, we voted Mythic.
No, I mean if we did the Mythic 1200.
Oh, the 1200.
Those would be the only two that.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway,
and so it wouldn't actually be that meaningful because it's just our favorites.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the cinnamon bun, sticky bun. No, it's not.
The pecan sticky bun.
Pecan sticky bun.
Yeah, I liked that one. I thought it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we kind of talked about this last time. It seems like Rorschach is doing this whole dessert beer kind of thing. It's one of their specialties, and I thought they did a pretty good job of it. I like pecans. I wasn't getting it that strongly.
No,
I was getting like nuts of some sort. But I don't know if I would have picked out, without you telling me that it's like pecan. I don't know if I would have.
I was mainly getting like, chocolate milk stout. Very good. Yep. Absolutely right on. Yeah, you're right. Nuts. So like nut milk, some sort of nut thing.
Yeah. Let's phrase it differently, but like, like chocolate milk made with almond milk or something.
Yeah. With pecan milk. Pecan milk. I still thought it was good. It's definitely worth picking up and drinking. I think the name is a little misleading but it's hard, right? Because it sounds super sweet and way overpowering, and it's not. It's actually a really good beer.
Yeah. It was just a good stout. If you didn't tell me anything about it, I'd just be like, oh, it's just a good stout. I kind of get the chocolate stoutiness of it for sure.
Yeah, really good chocolate milk stout, I would say. It didn't. I thought it was going to be really sweet and desserty, but seeing Rorschach's deal, they are desserty, but it doesn't. None of their beers have been too sweet for me, and notably not too sweet for you, which is the bigger deal. So
that's surprising.
Yeah,
that's what I was worried about going into this, that they would just be way too sweet.
And it hasn't been that. So that one, I don't know if it's because I've had, this is my second 12% beer or what it is, and I'm just feeling generous. But I really think that pecan sticky bun, I'm going to give that a diamond. I like
that
it.
was diamond for me too. I was wondering, while we were talking about it, if you were going platinum or diamond on it. I was firmly in the diamond camp, so I was ready to fight you on that. But
Yeah.
just a really great beer. And I think that might hint what I'm going to give this one.
Yeah, I also think that we have hinted a little bit about what I'm going to give this one. Wow.
Because
Benevolent.
that diamond beer is not the one we chose.
Yeah, so malevolent. Now I can't say it. Benevolence. So they have 3 different versions of this at Rorschach Brewery. I'm sorry for all those out-of-towners. You won't be able to get this probably, but holy moly, is this fantastic. So
Yeah.
it's an imperial stout, which we already love, right? They have 3 different kinds. I think it's the same recipe, but either in tequila barrels, whiskey barrels, or Cabernet Sauvignon barrels. And
Right.
I'm excited to taste the other ones because this one was so good. Holy crap.
It was amazing. And the first thing I noticed when I took a sip is you definitely, I could taste that this was aged in a tequila barrel.
Absolutely, 100% knew
So that makes me
immediately.
excited to taste the other ones as well.
Mm-hmm. I think with this recipe specifically, the Cabernet one is exciting me because I can really see where it would fit in here. This is a really, really great imperial stout.
This is my favorite beer style.
Yeah.
And this is just done really well. This is one of the best beers I've had in a very long time.
In a very long time, I agree. This is going straight to Mythic in my books.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah. Rorschach is this beer. It's got to be.
Yeah.
This is the beer that they're pushing.
And like you said, I'm going to pick up the other 2 versions.
Yeah.
So.
Almost immediately. I'm just like, should we just do the other 2 versions next week?
Yeah. Just fill up that Mythic pool,
Yeah. Boy, is this a great beer. So definitely go check it out. Also, I think we talked about the label earlier, but I do like the comedy tragedy masks. Just very classic. Also, in my acting background, I always like those as well. So
yeah. Kind of like a yin-yang mask
kind of thing. Yeah, you can't have the happy without the sad. Similar to this league weekend. I'm feeling more like Martin Yuza, but it's fine.
Or like Martin Luza.
Ouch. Whoa. Don't go there, man. Over the line.
Just cut that out.
You need to say an apology, and then everyone on Twitter will still be mad at you.
We're used to giving out apologies.
Yeah. Delete that tweet right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, go pick up some of this beer. It is just bonkers good.
So good. I've always said that a proper imperial stout too, when you first taste it, you kind of get punched in the mouth because it's just so much more flavor than you're used to. Your palate needs to open up, and then the sips get you get used to it. And this one was that's when I really got the tequila too. Is on that first sip when you're just like, whoa, I actually can taste the tequila.
Yeah, it really delivers. Also super smooth. You can tell it is high in alcohol, but in a very luxurious way. It feels like I got punched in the mouth with someone wearing a silk glove. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It was very, very nice. I like it.
So if you want that, just go to Rorschach. If you want to get punched in the mouth by someone wearing a silk glove.
That's it. That should be on the bottle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tweet them. Hey.
That should be the new logo, right? Just somebody cranking somebody with a silk glove.
Yeah. Anyway, that is what we think about these beers and this brewery. I'm really happy that we did our first tap takeover. It's been just phenomenal.
I mean, Rorschach nailed it, right? They
really did.
2 diamonds, a mythic, and maybe a platinum. I don't remember.
1 platinum, yeah. I gave them a platinum. But that I was on the fence about after we talked about it. That maybe I'll change later. So,
yeah, really high. They're just a great brewery.
Really great brewery. So check them out if you're in the Toronto area, or if you ever get to come out here whenever the pandemic is over, which may be never.
Wow, I gotta end on such a depressing note, man.
Because
such a high there.
Because that's just what everything is like. It doesn't matter. But it is time for closing time. You can always reach us on Twitter and Instagram at Arena Regulars to tell us all the things you like about Rorschach Brewery.
Yeah. You might run into us on MTG Arena itself. Our username is Arena Regulars Podcast.
And if you want to talk to me personally, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zulberg, Zeulberg. But Jeff, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter as BluesBrewsMTG, and you can find me on Twitch as Blues Brews. I stream Wednesday and Thursday nights, and then we're gonna work in some sort of streaming these Star City events, I think.
Ooh, okay, that sounds really good. And then please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you can follow us on iTunes and Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere that you can listen to us. You're listening to us right now. Go on YouTube, find us as well. It would really make a huge difference for us, and we would love any feedback that you have. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you never to pick Rakdos in a fantasy MPL draft.
Good night. All right, that's fine.